Can I now close that box that says attendees on hold?
Yes, you can click on that orange. Do you see that orange arrow at the top of that box?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Click the X and it's gone. It's magic.
Okay, very good. And now you'll want to say play your program, right? Or slideshow from the beginning or whatever. You know how to do that.
Absolutely, I know how to do that.
Yeah.
And away we go. Welcome to New Horizon Roses, the 2023 edition. And that is what the cover looks like. It's the annual review of America's newest exhibition roses. We're in our 41st year as Horizon Roses, and it's being published thanks to the American Rose Society, and all proceeds are donated to the ARS by the editor. And I'd like to thank Elaine Ornelas for the gorgeous picture of Mango Blush on the cover. She's a wonderful exhibitor and a wonderful photographer. 41 years this publication has been promoting the newest exhibition roses. I want to give you just a brief history of Horizon Roses. It begins with the legacy of Bill McMahon. He was the founder of Horizon Roses. And there's Bill. Hold on. Cancel. Here's a little background of Bill. In 1983, he was Tenarchy District Director, and he started a publication, The Autumn Checklist of Horizon Roses. That was the title. And he recruited a group of regional editors who built a group of reporters throughout the nation. The readers began to refer to the publication sort of shorthand as Horizon Roses, and by popular demand, he changed the name. We move on to the legacy of Bob Martin. He's the former ARS president. He was a top exhibitor, a writer, and a judge, and he became a Horizon reporter in 1992. He was promoted to Southwest Regional Editor in 1995. In 2006, Bill McMahon retired from Horizon, and Bob Martin took over as national editor at Bill's request. Bob expanded the publication, and he held the position of national editor until his untimely passing in 2021. The torch was passed from Bob Martin to me in 2022. And New Horizon Roses debuted in 2022 with the Bob Martin rose on the cover. I'd like to start by introducing our regional editors to you. Our regional editors are solicited once a year to go out and send communication to all of the exhibitors they know in their area and solicit the best comments they can on the new roses. For the Deep South, South, and Carolina District, we have Cindy Dale. Mary Fulgham came on this year, first-time editor, South Central and Central regions. Jeff and Cindy Garrett, the Tenarchy District. Bill Kazemchek, Northeast region. Mark Miller, Buckeye District. Diane Summers, our own ARS president, North Central region. Wendy Tilley and her husband Ryan, Pacific Northwest and Rocky Mountain District. And then there's me, Southwest region and national editor. I'd like to take a moment to give many thanks to Carol Shockley for her many years of service to Horizon Roses. She retired from being regional editor for the South Central and Central regions this year, but she continues on as a Horizon reporter. New Horizon Roses shares the collective knowledge and experience of 111 of the nation's top exhibitors from 28 states on the exhibition potential of hundreds of roses introduced into commerce in the last 5 years. Now, some of these roses were previously in commerce overseas, and they've now been released in the United States. So new releases for the first time in the US of old roses from overseas count as new roses for us. When you look at Horizon Roses, I'd like you to take particular note of the location of the reporters as they offer their opinions on these new roses. A rose that is disease resistant in the east, where black spot's prevalent, may not be disease resistant in the west, where powdery mildew is common. A rose whose blooms may be too small to exhibit in warmer regions may be great for exhibition in regions with cooler climates. So pay attention to the location of the reporters as you consider getting your roses. The honor roll. It consists of roses that have received high ratings in past issues of the publication by exhibitors from a wide cross-section of the country. Honor roll roses are generally considered to be bankers by exhibitors, roses you can take to the bank, the consistent top exhibition varieties. We do not continue to report on varieties once they've achieved this honor. Here's some recent inductees on the honor roll. The Great Ring of Fire, Celestial Night, floribunda, Fabulous floribunda. I have 13 of them. Chessie's Favorite, Verdun. And for the first time this year, we are reviewing climbers. Bob Martin had always wanted to add climbers, but he didn't get around to doing it by the time he passed away. So we now have climbers on the honor roll. Something to bear in mind when we're looking at photographs of these roses. In the case of show roses, a picture is worth a lot when considered along with the comments of the rose. Photos of roses preserve a moment in time, and often a moment when the rose looks its very best. This moment may be fleeting or infrequent, so remember, one good bloom every once in a while is not enough to make a rose a great exhibition rose. And here are our roses for the Horizon. In this program, I have selected 131 top picks from the 349 varieties that are featured in New Horizon Roses 2023. If I did all 349, we would be here all day. Also, all of the roses didn't get a whole lot of comments, and so I wanted to pick roses that had been reviewed quite a lot from our members. Also, I have looked for comments from various areas of the country so we can see how well these roses are doing in other areas. Not all roses are being reviewed. The 131, some of them I have a section of top picks, top comments, but others haven't. I think they're special, but I haven't received enough comments on them to add. Let's look at hybrid teas first. Alex Nobles is the sport of Zach Nobles, and it was discovered by Satish Prabhu. We haven't enough people who have grown this rose yet, so we don't have a bunch of reviews. American Made was introduced by Stephen Roussel a wonderful new hybridizer. He is fast becoming a rock star as a hybridizer, and we have a number of his roses here. Here are a few top comments from Georgia. Deep pink, 5-inch blooms with excellent form and long straight stems. Definitely has exhibition potential. From Texas, beautiful pink color that is slow to fade. Vigorous growth in my garden. Non-stop blooms with plenty of petals and good substance. This rose will show. These are the kind of comments that we really needed. And Steve Russell himself said, hot pink with moderate fragrance, 3x5 plant with 4 to 5-inch blooms, great color and spiral form. Next, a rose from the great hybridizer John Smith called Amy. And we have a few top comments. Lou Pavlovich in Arizona said, this is a remarkable high-centered yellow rose hybridized by John Smith. Amy has long stems and dark foliage in proportion to the blooms as it holds its center for a week plus. Boy, that's a plus. This is an elite yellow rose for exhibitors. From West Virginia, our reporters say this is a very clean rose bush and has had no issues with black spot or powdery mildew. The bloom has good form, but it is slow to repeat in our yard. That's a good thing to know. Steve Singer says beautiful yellow blooms with good form, really like it for show and garden. Avant-garde is new. We have very few reports on this so far, so we don't have any top comments on it. But for those lovers of striped roses, this is a standout. Chandos Beauty is also brand new, and we don't have a bunch of comments on it. We have some, but nothing worth top comments. Cherrytown from the great John Smith. From Pennsylvania, lovely pink blend grows on straight canes with consistent exhibition form. Requires a little time to establish in the garden. This is a contender. From Ohio, Jim Herring, good exhibition form, may currently be the best red blend hybrid tea exhibition rose. And from Arizona, another incredible rose hybridized by John Smith that exhibitors will love. It featured high-centered blooms, high-centered white blooms with bright pink edging on long stems and dark foliage which frames specimens in perfect proportion. Clovey, we received a ton of comments on Clovey from, like I say, the new rock star, Stephen Russell. From New York, it has the color, fragrance, and charm of Tropicana, but with much better form, and it does not seem to blow open fast. This is a keeper. From Georgia, love this rose. Excellent show quality. Blooms most of the time. Strong, spicy fragrance. Somewhat slow to repeat. Marvelous rose. From Arkansas, Carol Shockley, one of my favorites, and it will show. The color is lovely and original. The form is good, and it produces large blooms. By the way, in the publication, there are many more comments. Every comment on every rose is not positive. There are some people, we may have 90% of the people say it's a great show rose, and 10% say, well, you know, it didn't survive winter, or it didn't do well in my garden. So you really kind of need to read the whole publication. George's 90th birthday. We don't have any reports on this yet, except from George and Brad Jalbert. Brad Jalbert is the hybridizer, and he hybridized this hybrid tea rose in celebration of the 90th birthday of the great hybridizer from Canada, George Mander. You'll remember one of his many roses, amber, he's had amber star, glowing amber. He's had a lot of wonderful roses. Anyway, we will look forward to more reports on this one next year. Gypsy Soul. This is a decorative HT from Cordis. We don't have a lot of reports on this one yet. Liz's Charm, another one from Stephen Rossell. And if you went to the Shreveport National, you got to see this in person. This is definitely going to be a winner. This was the rose at the Shreveport National, and there it was on the trophy table. From South Carolina, long-stemmed, usually single-stem, strong, tall grower, producing plenty of quality blooms for exhibition and or home. Make room for this one. From New York, one of the best new exhibition hybrid teas in my garden. It is vigorous, and the blooms are a beautiful shade of pink, blushing red on the edges. I can't wait for this rose to be in bloom when I have a show. I know it will do well. And from Florida, this rose is beautiful and has great exhibition potential. I have won several awards, including King. This rose has become a favorite. Maurice Utrillo. This one's been around for about 5 years now, and a lot of people have grown it, so I don't have a lot of comments on this right now. But it is a really nice decorative hybrid tea. As is Painted Porcelain, been around for a while, about 5 years. Picture Perfect from Christian Bedard, relatively new. Another Roussel rose called Rocket, and I have a really good feeling about this one. There it is in profile. These are the first pictures. And a few exhibitors have it. From Georgia, new from Stephen Roussel, vivid, striking deep pink with excellent fragrance. Many of the blooms are queen quality. Roussel says very large, dark red buds open into 4 to 5 inch flowers. Plants grow straight up to about 6 feet. Spiral forms with lots of petals. Good for garden or show. Beautiful. And Steve Singer says large blooms, lots of petals, long stems. So I look forward to seeing more comments on this rose next year. Ruby's Daughters from Ray Gullibo in Florida. This one hasn't had much distribution yet. It's brand new. So next year, I anticipate we will see more comments on this one. Looks gorgeous. Stiletto's been around for about 5 years, but boy, oh boy, did we get a lot of comments on this one. From Iowa, this HT has very nice form, but still they're more floribunda size based on a 3rd-year own root plant. It's showing promise. By the way, this was my experience with the rose. It was floribunda size for me. From Oregon, yes, fabulous new HT with great form, beautiful deep raspberry color, vigorous plant, won Portland Gold Medal for 2023. A little side comment here, you notice that this reporter is in Oregon. It's a cooler climate, and so he gets the larger size on this rose. Might be a great one for the Pacific Northwest. From Washington, she said, I wish I could exhibit this rose. Vibrant, deep magenta blooms come one to a stem and in sprays of 3 to 4 blooms. Form and substance are immaculate with perfectly arranged symmetrical petals. Alas, blooms are a bit too small and a little too flat on top of generally short stems. So we've got, little pluses and minuses here. This is one from John Smith that is new, that is getting a lot of buzz, the Philosopher's Rose. And there's a profile shot of it. And from Pennsylvania, lovely pastel color, medium-sized blooms with good form. Bill Kazemchek, also in Pennsylvania, where it seems to have gotten early release. Beautiful exhibition quality blooms with coloring similar to Gemini, one of its parents, with some pale yellow coloring inside the bloom, with the other parent, Sunny Sundays. Will definitely show well. Good to know. From Arizona, a fabulous new rose from hybridizer John Smith. It is white with light pink edging, which reminds you of the color of Secret. It has high centered blooms on long stems. It is another elite rose that exhibitors will love. You see slightly different comments on the coloration from different parts of the country. Vibrant Vani, another Stephen Roussel new introduction. From Texas, beautiful pink blend that can have classic form, but have yet to see larger size. It grows well with straight stems and good repeat. I like this rose. From Arizona, a white rose with red edging. I have seen some superb exhibition blooms with high centers on our plant after growing it for 2 years. This creation by hybridizer Stephen Roussel is a stunner when it is right. And Carol Shockley in Arizona, another Roussel favorite of mine. The color is striking and the form is excellent. It makes huge blooms. And the last hybrid tea, I believe, is going to be a sensation. It's called White Princess from a hybridizer named Don Johnson. Ray Gullibo in Florida said, new plant from Wisconsin roses. By the way, Horizon Roses will tell you where you can get any of these roses if they are commercially available. New plant from Wisconsin roses, very vigorous with long stems and dark foliage. It's going to be a queen before long. From Georgia, gorgeous, pure white, high-centered blooms on a young plant. Has serious potential. From Wisconsin, large blooms have beautiful show form with 35 to 40 petals, long stems, upright growth habit. From Florida, first-year plant is still small with small blooms that have perfect high-centered form. High petal count gives longer vase life. And from Georgia, he simply said should be on the head table soon. Moving on to grandifloras. All dressed up. Lovely form. Decorative. Pop art, another lovely decorative one. State of Grace, that's in my garden, does really well. Very, very vigorous, does not refrigerate at all, turns to mush in the refrigerator. So if you get a bloom like that, cut it the night before and don't put it in the refrigerator. Sweet Spirit is the grandiflora we got the most comments on from Mayland. From Kansas, a good potential rose for arrangements and fragrance classes. From Georgia, disease-free plant and excellent repeat bloomer with a fabulous fragrance. Decorative form. It won the open bloom class for me. And Diane Summers in Wisconsin, second-year plant is putting on a real show this year with deep fuchsia decorative blooms. Blooms mostly singles with limited sprays, hardy and disease resistant. Rather short to be a grandiflora, but stunning in the garden. And Uptown Girl, another decorative from Tom Caruth. Moving on to floribundas. Angel Kisses from another new rock star hybridizer, Dave Bang. We know him mostly for his miniatures and minifloras, but he's also put out some very nice floribundas. From Texas, a beautifully shaped and colored bloom on this floribunda. I think it is one to watch. From Louisiana, white blooms with pink edges have very nice form. Refrigerates well, makes nice sprays, does get a little black spot. Really like this rose. And from Carol Shockley in Arkansas, white blushed pink blooms on a nice sized bush with shiny leaves make you look twice. The blooms have good form and hold. Could be a good exhibition rose. Bliss Parfuma from Cordes. Nice, decorative. Burst of Joy. We got lots of comments from this one from Tom Caruth. From Kentucky, orange blend with good exhibition form. Produces mostly solitary blooms with good size, has good foliage. From Diane Summers in Wisconsin, I really like the color with the orange blooms and yellow reverse, but I haven't seen sprays in the 3 years I grew it. And from California, Beth Van Boxtel, this is a surprisingly good rose. After the more than normal powdery mildew issues in the spring, this rose takes off. I have perfect exhibition style blooms and some double blooms. Camille Pizarro's been around for a few years now, probably within the 5 years. This photo was taken by Kira Kozemchek, and it was on the cover of the American Rose magazine. Empathy is new from Burling Leong. She is the owner of Burlington Nursery, former assistant to Ralph Moore. From Colorado, amazing colors, looking for stems and size. I like everything about this one, from colors to perfect blooms. Impressive. Have 3, double color bloom. From Equine in California, this rose looks very promising with the large, colorful bicolor blooms disposed mostly in clusters. The rose is mildew resistant and will show well. And from Georgia, red blend with white setter, small and large clusters, prolific bloomer, such a pleasure to grow. Will show in the spray class. Heavenly, another floribunda from Dave Bang. From California, nice exhibition form with mostly 1 bloom per stem, nice fragrance, and blooms last a long time. From Florida, pink blooms with exhibition form from Dave Bang. It can win the 1 bloom class. From California, we love the pink color of this rose, but the form often does not hold, especially for exhibition. It is a prolific bloomer. And from New York, it really is heavenly, I'm sure. One of the few Bang floribundas that is winter hardy up here. It's gorgeous. Got so many comments from our reporters. From Jerry Mahoney in Arizona, I am truly in love with the golden yellow of this rose. Dave Bang roses do not always thrive in our garden, but this one is a real winner. It's nice to have a floribunda with exhibition form and a yellow that holds its color in our strong sunshine. From North Carolina, Satish Prabhu, beautiful floribunda with an intense yellow color. The bush is disease resistant, but has not grown much in 3 years, and the sprays and individual florets are somewhat small. From Arkansas, perfect form every time, and the bright yellow make it a winner. Overall comments are this rose tends to be a little small for a floribunda, with many people thinking it might have done better as a mini flora, but we shall see as time goes on. Mark Chagall from Delbart, been around a few years. Never been redder from Christian Bedard, a new floribunda. From Tom Bonfigli in California, large OGR style red blooms come in small to medium sized sprays, which last for literally weeks. In fact, the lasting quality of the blooms was amazing. Also from California, this may become my 2nd favorite red floribunda after Oh My. Very good red color and good sprays of fluffy, smaller blooms. Quick grower, quick repeat. So if you need a red florrie on a different bloom cycle, then oh my, get this one. Pink Brick House, very popular new floribunda from Jim Sproul in California. Power Puff Pink. This is brand new from Jim Sproul in California, and we should be getting a bunch of reports on it by next year. Shannon Lanaya from Chris Greenwood in California. Chris Greenwood is the amateur hybridizer who came up with Ring of Fire among many other roses. And this rose has started to become a winner here in California. I don't know how much it has had exposure around the country yet. This was from the Southern California District show, South Pacific Southwest District show, and it was Floribunda Queen this year. All our comments are from California because that's where it seems to have had initial distribution. The first one, a top performing floribunda that sprays when planted in the ground. My plant on Fortuniana is also too tall, but the smallish, perfect buds and blooms are a must-have. Also from California, a really good rose. In our coastal garden, it grows like a prototypical grandiflora with large blooms up to 4.5 inches across, with perfect form, often disposed in clusters. Color is unique and attractive. And Elaine Ornelas, who showed that Floribunda Queen, said, one of our favorite exhibition roses with gorgeous color, coral, pink, and yellow shades. For us, it does not seem to hold its form well for exhibition. If a bloom is caught at its very peak, it can be exhibited well. Sweet Love of Mine is from Dave Bang. I don't believe we have many reports on this one yet. Sweet Madam Blue from Christian Bedard. Beautiful. And we have some comments on that one. From New York, this rose has a beautiful purple color with a terrific fragrance that won me that award last year. Unfortunately, this rose was winter killed in the flash freeze. The color and fragrance are so good that I will replace it next spring. From Washington, first blooms have a nice size that come in sprays on very short stems so far. Gotta love the color and the fragrance though. And from California, this is an elegant mauve rose with many petals. The bloom lasts on the bush, which makes it a great show rose. The Iron Throne, a rather unique colored rose from Chris Greenwood. Touch of Heaven from Dave Bang, another floribunda. See, he does have a few. A few top comments include from Louisiana, very pale pink blooms are just lovely with good repeat bloom. Refrigerates well. Get some black spot. From Florida, nice apricot color blooms with form from Dave Bang. Young own root plant is growing nicely. And from the late Bob Martin, who grew all of these Dave Bang roses, I think he grew everything. I kept one of his comments. He said, first blooms closely matched Dave's photo and were very encouraging. The initial size seems on the small side for a floribunda. However, the ivory color is heavenly and the bush is growing well. True Sincerity got the most comments of all the ping limb roses reviewed this year. People really like this one. From California, this rose is a very pleasant surprise. Blooms are a good medium yellow with cerise edging. They have spiral setters and come both singly and in sprays on a very healthy plant that is just starting to spring into glorious vigor. This is one of my favorite color combinations. Ping appears to have a winner here. And from New York, this rose is Ping Lim's masterpiece. gorgeous yellow flowers that blush pink and change red. Each bloom is borne single bloom per stem and has perfectly formed exhibition form flowers. White lies. Very pretty. I expected this to be white, but oh well. Moving on to polyanthus, we only have a few. Children's Hope from Tom Caruth. And the Pretty Polly series, the Pretty Polly Lavender, Pretty Polly Pink, and that got the most comments. From California, same as Pretty Polly Lavender and White, but is best bloomer of the three. From Georgia, prolific pink 2-inch blooms, excellent front of the border landscape rose, long-lasting cut flower with excellent disease resistance. Huge sprays with blooms that don't open at the same time, but it won for me recently. And from Arkansas, love it in the garden, could show with those nice sprays. And the last is Pretty Polly White, the last of the Pretty Polly series. Moving on to the minifloras. A Night of Magic by Dave Bang, another wonderful photo from Elaine Ornelas. From Wisconsin, this rose will easily grow to 4 feet in a pot. It has very velvety petals on a striated dark red with smaller glossy green leaves. Often it will throw a spray at the end of the cane. From California, beautiful if you catch it at the right point for show. Good fully open if you don't. It could cover an arbor and then some by itself. This is a climbing miniflora. Also from California, this large climber is a prolific bloomer producing sprays and singles of beautiful striped roses. Colors are very dark red with stripes and flecks of lighter red. Needs to be grown on a large trellis. We love this one. Delightful. Another Dave Bang rose. Dreamcatcher. Yet another. Eyes of Fire. That was taken by Dave Bang. And here are a few comments on Eyes of Fire. Brilliantly colored blooms on a stalwart, disease-resistant plant. Confused centers early in the year with improvement later on. From Arizona, spectacular is the word I have for this rose. It reminds me of the old hybrid tea Flaming Beauty with its bloom color. Our fast-growing plant is just 6 months old and has presented a number of eye-popping blooms that will command attention at future rose shows. And from New York, winter hardy and healthy, nice color and good form. Game Changer from Fred Wright. Wonderful hybridizer. Cindy Dale in Georgia said, transplanted this 3rd-year plant and it has really taken off. Dusty pink blooms have good repeat and almost every one has exhibition form. Very little disease. From Florida, medium pink with very good form. Reminds me of Swing Time. Definitely worth acquiring. Sets seeds easily, so hybridizers take note. And also from Florida, Ralph Stream. Looks like Swing Time, but doesn't have the high setters. Good disease resistance. Blooms last a long time, making it good for traveling to shows. That's an interesting comment. Good morning, gorgeous. We don't have a lot of comments on this one yet, but boy, is that gorgeous. Healthcare Hero from Steve Singer at Wisconsin Roses. Brand new introduction. And we do have a few top comments from people who have had this rose in advance. From Florida, light pink with beige tones is new from Wisconsin Roses. Glossy foliage with long stems. Bloom form is there. From Jim Herring in Ohio, pink blend with exhibition form. Should show. And Steve Singer himself says blooms have very good show form with lots of petals. plants have good black spot disease resistance and very glossy foliage. 65 petals should do well in warmer climates. Heroic Love, another one from Dave Bang. Looks a lot like Strawberry Kisses, doesn't it? It's So Yummy from Dave Bang. Love that photo and that color combination. We do have a few comments on that one. From Texas, if you catch the blooms early, it can be exhibition. Fewer blooms than I would like, but still an interesting striped rose. From Florida, pink and yellow stripes from Dave Bang has nice form. And from Kentucky, yellow with pink stripes produces mostly sprays with good exhibition form. Grows 8 to 10 feet tall. Very pretty rose. Love and Romance from Dave Bang. Magical Moment from Dave Bang, and this is also a climbing miniflora, which I sure found out in the 3 months I grew it. It got so big, I gave it to Bob Martin. Yes, I used one of my own comments. This climbing miniflora is nearly identical to a Night of Magic, except that Magical Moment is thornless. It has a rampant, ungainly growth habit, but puts out lovely dark red blooms with coral red and rose pink stripes, streaks, and flecks. From Alabama, multiple long stems with multiple blooms at the tips. Third-year bush is 5 to 6 feet tall. Very similar to a Night of Magic, winter hardy. Mango Blush got among the most, probably the most comments about minifloras. This one is a winner. Here are a few top comments. From Florida, stunning sunset colors that glow in the garden. Blooms are nicely spiraled with show form. From South Carolina, a winner already. Color and form are exhibition in every sense. Will light up the head table at a show. Good grower. Loads of quality blooms. And from Elaine Ornelas, who took the cover photo of this rose and who has been winning with this rose since she got it. She said, one of our favorite Dave Bang roses. It wins frequently at shows and holds its form for a long time. It has an unusual and beautiful coloration of mango coral with edges of lavender. The size and form should probably be registered as a floribunda instead of a miniflora. Side comment, many of the roses I have seen shown look floribunda size, and there's been a lot of discussion that it should be re-registered as a floribunda. I did get a comment from somebody back east who said, gee, the blooms are kind of small. So go figure, right? Marshmallow Bubblegum, what an interesting color, also from Dave Bang. Nancy May from the late Richard Anthony, this was his last introduction. And we do have some comments from Ohio, pink blend with loads of petals and good exhibition form. It definitely will show, an AOA winner. From Pennsylvania, good form and nice color, will show. Also from Ohio, Nancy May is very similar to the miniflora Regina Lee. However, the plant is a more vigorous grower. The blooms will center more often than Regina Lee and is therefore a better show rose. I would recommend Nancy May to all who grow minifloras. Pink Tuxedo from Fred Wright. From Georgia, lots of petals give it super substance. This one is now a proven winner, larger than some other minifloras. From Dale in Georgia, hot pink blooms with a white reverse have ironclad substance. Every bloom has a pinpoint center and grooming is a breeze. Cannot say enough good things about this rose. And from Arkansas, Fred Wright makes sure his roses have good exhibition potential. Pink Tuxedo would make a good collection rose and may be royal occasionally. Radiant Love, another Dave Bang rose. If I don't have comments on it, it means I haven't gotten enough reports to make it worthwhile yet. RBG, one of the most popular new minifloras. Got wonderful comments on it from hybridizer Steve Singer. From South Carolina, best exhibition form miniflora I have grown in years. Seems that it cannot produce a bad bloom. Tall grower with nice stems. Blooms refrigerate well for several days. From Georgia, I'm very impressed with this new one that settled in quickly and soon started producing the gorgeous quilled blooms that others rave about. Form can be fleeting, especially in our heat. And also from Georgia, fabulous rose from Steve Singer, full high-centered blooms with quilled petals, extremely good show potential. Ruthie's Rose, also from Steve Singer at Wisconsin Roses. From Wisconsin, another excellent show rose from Steve Singer. Delicate color, high centers, much to like about this rose. From Tennessee, pretty pink and white exhibition form blooms. Nice plant. And from Florida, another great rose from Wisconsin Roses. White with pink edging. Not as vigorous as RBG, but it's getting there. Sacrificial Love, dark red from Dave Bang. Samantha Ty from the late Richard Anthony. Spice of Life from Dave Bang. This one was on a first-year plant in my garden. This rose gets big. My roses are on their own roots and they're hybrid tea size. They're big. This doesn't need to be grown budded. Stephen Roussel said beautiful in Louisiana. Beautiful deep orange blooms with perfect exhibition form. This rose really shines here on the Gulf Coast. Great rose. From Arkansas, this Dave Bang rose seems to have it all. Its attractive orange-red color is eye-catching. It has good miniflora size. The blooms have excellent form with high centers, and the spiral is perfection. It's one to get and one to show. And from New York, love it. Very hardy and vigorous. Huge, well-formed, and hot color. Strawberry Kisses. This is, again, one of the most popular minifloras that our reporters commented on. The picture on the left, I believe that was taken by Paris Merriam in his California garden, and a one on the right was of the miniflora queen from Bill and Elaine Ornelas. No two blooms are the same on this rose, so you'll see quite a color differentiation even on the same plant. From Alabama, David Clemens said, love the stripes, and each bloom is unique. Good grower with long stems. Bloom can be a little small for a miniflora. From Paris Merriam in California, one of my favorite miniflora roses. Every rose is different, with white petals and crimson stripes and streaks. Lots of petals, long stems, and good exhibition form. And Diane Summers in Wisconsin says, my favorite new miniflora. First year plant was rather stingy with blooms, but this year there are many, and they all have perfect form and long lasting, hardy and disease resistant. Surprise, another rose from Dave Bang. Hefner in Indiana says, another vigorous striped variety from Dave Bang. Beginning to have some exhibition form after last year of nothing but confused blooms. Floribunda sized blooms. In New York, Dave Stever, another of Dave Bang's winter hardy roses. Color and form are good and tall enough to avoid deep bending. And California, this rose is almost identical to Swizzle. Without the foliage, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Surprise has larger leaves. This rose does excellent in shows. The glossy, healthy foliage really stands out. And Trinket from Fred Wright. Twinkle Little Star from Dave Bang. Vernon Rickard, named for the late great hybridizer, hybridized by Fred Wright. Stems and blooms mimic some HTs on this Fortuniana grafted bush. Would make a great high-low with crescendo. Definite exhibition form that will win. North Carolina, this plant is super vigorous and grows very large, 6 by 5, on own root. The color and form, while somewhat similar to Vernon's laugh, are less consistent. You have to wait for a good one. And from West Virginia, still one of our favorite minifloras. Grows tall and has large blooms with excellent form. Our plants produce both singles and sprays, and they can compete in both categories. This is clearly one to get. And here's Vernon's laugh. I took this picture of this rose shown by Ray and Diane Gullibo at the Shreveport National. And Vernon Rickard himself was the hybridizer. From Iowa, we'll be seeing plenty of this one on the head table. Great color combination and form. From Ohio, pink blend, lighter in color than Vernon Rickard, great center, quills. And from North Carolina, a beautiful rose with mostly good form, great color. Blooms are of good size, quite consistent. Plant is a good grower. And Zion Rose from Jim Sproul in California. From California, I have grown Zion Rose for several years. The bloom color is a stunning orange and yellow combo, and I have seen no mildew on it even without spraying chemicals. From Florida, yellow blend with long stems. Young plant appears to have what it takes to be a good one. And from California, we have this rose in a 7-gallon squat pot, and it is blooming prolifically with gorgeous yellow and orange blooms. Shiny leaves have no disease. Moving on to the miniatures. A Kiko-san is a sport of Dr. Tommy Cairns, a single discovered by Louis Decimero. It is not widely available yet. Baby Dainty Bess comes from Jim Sproul. Looks just like Dainty Bess, only in miniature. Kitty Belendez in California says, miniature look-alike to Dainty Bess. So far, Baby Dainty Bess appears to be a continuous bloomer. I cannot detect any fragrance on the 5-petaled blooms, which are barely 1.5 inches wide when open. Bloom color is light pink with dark red stamens. Minnesota. I keep imagining this rose in a high-low exhibit with Dainty Bess. Love this rose. Lots of bloom. First mini rose to bloom in spring. And from Ohio, Jim Herring, well named by Jim Sproul because it is a miniature spitting image of Dainty Bess, a single which will show as 1 bloom per stem or spray. AOE winner for 2023. Bob Martin, this is this rose's last year on Horizon Roses because it was introduced in 2018. It was the last introduction from the late great hybridizer Frank Benardella. That was incidentally the Mini Queen shown by Ray and Diane Gullibo at the Shreveport National on the right. From Georgia, non-fading bright yellow that will make multiple trips to the trophy table. Great sprays with abundant blooms. From Florida, maybe the best yellow exhibition mini ever. Slow to take off, but after 3 years, I am very impressed. Won the National Queen this year, makes great sprays as well. And from California, an excellent yellow exhibition miniature rose. Pinpoint centers, good substance, and a nice bold color. Stem length will improve with time. As a side note, this rose is very slow to take off. You need to give it at least a couple of years before it's really going to grow. Burning with Passion. That was taken in my garden, and also from Dave Bang. Captivating from Dave Bang. This, incidentally, is Dave Bang's own personal favorite. From California, beautiful, distinct, and brightly contrasted stripes of hot pink and yellow. Many blooms with exhibition form that holds longer than most in my heat. Continues to be my new favorite. From Equan, also in California, my favorite Dave Bang rose and the best rose I've ever grown. Wow, that's saying something from Justin Equan. The rose is superb in all respects. It is a proven winner in exhibition. It is completely thornless, and even the foliage is without prickles. Would give it a rating of 9.5. My two plants are budded. And from Texas, another good one. It blooms with regularity, and the blooms have good form and consistent color variations, even in our 100-degree heat. Diane Summers. This is a single from Jim Sproul, and for those people who don't think of singles as exhibition roses, this one is winning as a decorative bloom, which you can see on the left, and it also has one in the mini picture frame division. From Colorado, planted from Milwaukee Convention. Great single, should make show table. From Florida, we may have been first to win in a show with a showy spray of this. Reliable and fast blooming. Fast growing, and stems can reach 10 inches. No spraying needed. Highly recommended. And from Washington, low growing, cheerful colors. Looks beautiful in a picture frame display. Dottie from Dave Bang. This one has been doing very well at the shows. On the left, that's a picture from my garden. And on the right, that is a picture of a miniature king, I believe, from the district show. It was also on the court at the National. From California, another Dave Bang mini that shows promise. Unique dark purple coloring. No sign of mildew on a vigorous plant. From Minnesota, lots of potential. Blooms somewhat similar to another favorite, A Night of Magic. And Diane Summers in Wisconsin, one of my new favorites. Win with it most times I take it to the show. Deep red blooms, think of black jade with striping. Good form and bright yellow stamens, which work in the open bloom class. As a little side comment, this rose could use another row of petals. So it does tend to blow quickly, but if you catch it just right, it's on the trophy table. Eternal Hope, also from Dave Bang. From South Carolina, grows well and doesn't seem to mind the heat. Can have good form and stems for exhibiting. Doesn't tend to throw sprays. Can get black spot. From Georgia, solid yellow Bang rose that established itself quickly. Good grower and moderate repeat bloomer with one bloom per stem and sprays. Form can be there, but fleeting. From Indiana, my best yellow miniature. Plant grows well, producing well-formed blooms. Can have great sprays, great color retention. Flaming Desire. Not a lot of people are growing this yet, but it is a lovely looking rose, also from Dave Bang. Flaming Hot Cheetos. I do love the name, also from Dave Bang. He is risen. We got quite a few comments on this lovely rose from Dave Bang. From California, a nice yellow rose with petite blooms, long lasting, slow to open, clean bush with dainty foliage. Add to your garden. From Georgia, second year own root has really put on the growth this year. Slow repeat of very small yellow blooms striped with orange. Colors are very subtle and not the eye catcher I was hoping for. Can have exhibition form. And from California, similar to Strawberry Kisses, a lot of members in my community have this rose and show it. It's a great rose for form and color and is very disease resistant. Hot and zesty. You can see a variation in color. I don't recall who took the picture on the right. I took the picture on the left. You can see quite a lot of variation in this rose color. Indiana says somewhat of a swirly pop look-alike. More intense, darker coloration than swirly pop. From Ohio, red blend, orange blend, striped, good centers, should show. And from Arkansas, good form, wild color blending, and a nice spiral center make this mini an exhibition contender. Pink, orange, and yellow stripes and streaks make you look twice to be sure you saw it correctly. Good single blooms and striking sprays. It's a keeper from Dave Bang. Kiss Me Baby from Ray Gullibo. Too new to have a bunch of comments, but great looking center on that rose. Little Gemstone from Dave Bang. We don't have a lot of comments on this one yet. Love and Passion. Great intense color from Dave Bang. And we do have a few comments on that one. From Texas, it's been a slow grower for me, but I am not giving up on it. The one or two blooms I've seen are nice and have potential. From Tennessee, deep red blooms have a lighter striping. However, the striping is not as prominent as on other varieties. Doesn't bloom enough for us to tell about exhibition potential. From California, this is another very dark reddish purple miniature with dark red striping, and we love the color. Blooms singly and in small sprays. Midnight Fire is a new decorative mini from Christian Bedard. I really like that color. In Louisiana, they said really like this compact bush with nice decorative form blooms, always in bloom. From Ohio, another unusual great color, mauve to orange like a fire, decorative 2023 AOE winner. And from California, new plant has smoky orange-red blooms with decent stems and vigor, very floriferous. It appears to have a sunken center, but hopefully form will improve. I will keep it for a while due to its disease resistance. And I really don't think a sunken center matters all that much when we're looking at a decorative rose. My 2 cents. My first crush. Lovely new mini from Dave Bang. And we have some comments from South Carolina. Medium tall grower with good disease resistance. Exhibition form, but not a lot of sprays. From Georgia, will be a favorite of growers and judges with its great form and yellow center mixed with coral on petal edges. Lots of blooms that have good size. Exceptional color and balance. And from Florida, new plant has outgrown its 7-gallon pot. Love the color and form, plus its pest resistance. A keeper for now. My First Love, very dark, rich color, also from Dave Bang. From Pennsylvania, my favorite color combo, red with white reverse. Second-year plant is gaining size. Hopeful it will provide something to show. From North Carolina, strong grower. Good blooms with form, but size is a bit small for exhibiting. From South Carolina, looks very similar to Michael. Small blooms have show form, but bush is small with slow repeat bloom. Powder keg, Dave Bang. Not too many people are growing this one. That was taken in my garden. So I used one of my own comments. Deep, rich, dark purple blooms have white and coral pink streaks, stripes, and splashes. No two blooms are alike. They have good exhibition form, but my budded plant is slow to rebloom. The dark purple shows up best in partial shade, while hotter temperatures produce more of a dark red hue on the blooms. Glossy medium green foliage is disease resistant and the plant is nearly thornless. And Shimoda in California said Dave Bang own root rose, been growing in the ground beginning of the year and doing very well. Lots of growth and blooms. Pure Joy from Dave Bang. Interesting color combination. From California, mixed thoughts about this Dave Bang Mini. It is deep pink, yellow reverse, yellow center, and blooms in clusters. Exhibition form is inconsistent. When good, it is very good. We'll need lots of disbudding to show other than sprays. From Pennsylvania, beautiful color, deep pink with yellow reverse and good form on a clean bush. Seems to produce nice sprays also. From Kentucky, dark pink with yellow reverse has good show form and is disease resistant. Will show mostly as a spray. Quinn Elise. This has very limited release so far. It's a sport of the mini Hello Gorgeous, and it was discovered by Bob Martin. Shanae from Fred Wright Hybridizer. This really looks like it's going to be a winner. It's already been a winner from Elena Williams. That's her mini queen on the right. And I believe that's a mini king on the left. From South Carolina, excellent exhibition form blooms with good repeat. Good grower that can get fairly tall and has good stems. Bloom refrigerates well for about 4 days. Can be prone to black spot. 4th year grafted rose is growing slowly. Blooms have good form and have won for me. They are a beautiful orange sherbet color, but are sparse. From Indiana, this will win many shows. Nearly all blooms are show quality. Refreshing blending of pink-yellow coloration. One of the best new varieties. And from Elena Williams up in Washington, the best. Good color, form, and substance. One queen this year and one picture frame trophy in another show. Southern Girl from Ray Gullibo in Florida. From Florida, high-centered coral blooms on long stems with matte green leaves. Patience is required when grooming. At first, it may not appear to have good form, but then the exhibition form is revealed. The parentage is Tammy Clemens by Fairhope. Great parentage. From Arkansas, the tall, narrow bush produces light, peachy pink blooms with perfect form. It will show. And from Washington, will be used in both single and spray categories with nice, tight sprays and beautiful color, stable exhibition blooms. No disease observed. Will do well on the show table. Summer Splash, a new mini from Dave Bang. California, Linda Clark says orange and yellow stripe that mirrors Twist and Shout. Somewhat taller growth and setting a few more single blooms, but hard to see much difference between the two. Opens fast and color stripe fades fairly quickly in open blooms. From Kansas, stripes seem to fade out, could use in arrangements. And from Paris, Miriam in California, a beautiful yellow blend miniature rose. The eye-catching blooms are light yellow with orange stripes. Good form and unique color combination. Swirly Pop. Got so many comments, so many great comments. Probably the best known of the Dave Bang miniatures. From Texas, the best striped rose that I have from Dave Bang. I would grow this one and forget all the yellow base stripes from Bang because it has it all. Form, color, vigor, and disease resistance. From California, a superb exhibition rose on an attractive mildew-resistant plant. frequent candidate for miniature royalty. From Arkansas, held up on sturdy stems, Swirly Pop has delightful orange, pinky red, and yellow miniature high-centered blooms that really get your attention. The plant has demonstrated excellent disease resistance thus far. Swizzle from Dave Bang. That's also from my garden. Swizzle was in the Ralph Moore this year from Dave Bang. It's a Dave Bang rose. Ray Gullibo was the exhibitor, and there is Swizzle in the Moore. So it will definitely show. From Iowa, while her color isn't as dramatic, I like her a lot. Nice form and likes to bloom for us. From Florida, just as good as Swirly Pop, but with different shades of pink and yellow. Worth growing. And from Russell in California, second season in our garden, shape and color stay consistent and bloom lasts with good shaped center. We have done quite well with entries with these blooms. Christine, that's his wife, used it in 2 of her arrangements this year and did very well. And there's Twist and Shout from Dave Bang. From Tennessee, vigorous plant has peachy yellow and pink striped blooms. Good grower that will show. From Pennsylvania, yellow more dominant in this one than Swirly Pop with not as much pink stripes. Good form, should show. From Kentucky, yellow with pink stripes has good exhibition form, mostly sprays. I have one best spray with it. It has good foliage and disease resistance. Very nice rose. Unfailing Love. This one's from my garden. This is the color that normally it presents, although I've seen it advertised with darker purple. It might have something to do with the weather, but that's the color in my garden. From California, another excellent Dave Bang mini with red and white stripes with a white reverse. Exhibition form, continuous bloom. Looks a lot like Strawberry Kisses. From Texas, this variety is listed as mauve in color in the ARS Selecting Roses Handbook. It is actually red with white stripe. High centers and great form. Nice deep green foliage with healthy, substantial stems. And from South Carolina, has more red stripes than white and won queen for us at the South Carolina show. Most blooms are high quality for showing. On a side note, I have gotten it to the court here in Southern California at the district show. It could use another row of petals. So if you're going to cut it tight because it opens pretty fast. And the last one, Warms My Heart from Dave Bang. Lovely color. From Indiana, bright orange yellow reverse, well-formed blooms. Vigorous grower, like this one a lot. From Kentucky, looks like a sunset at first, then opens to a yellow-pink blend. Opens fast. It might show as a spray. Good bush is disease resistant. And from Alabama, abundance of bright orange blooms with good form. Winter hardy. Moving on to the shrubs. Alfred Sisley. This has been around for a few years, but it's within the 5 years of introduction from Del Bard. Beautiful striped decorative rose. We have a few top comments. Tom Cooney in California calls it a Frida Kahlo lookalike. Same striping, just a little lighter pink rather than red stripe. Part of the Del Bard Painters series. Like Frida? If yes, you'll like Alfred. From Florida, vigorous plant producing long stems for cutting. Makes small sprays as well. An eye catcher. And from Texas, this Del Bard rose is completely covered in orange and white striped blooms, even in our 100-degree heat. No disease. This is Elizabeth. There were only a few roses that were actually released of Elizabeth this year. They had very few in stock. So we will pretty much see it next year. Uh, a few people did get early blooms of it. I'm one of the people who did get a plant of it. Chris Van Cleve, who took this picture, also got a plant of it. And Chris said, Elizabeth is a new intro this year from David Austin Roses in honor of Her Late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. It really does have the most majestic blooms, reminding me of apple blossoms with a strong, sweet fragrance and fading to white as it finishes on the shrub. One to watch. He's definitely had it longer than I have. I said very light pink rosettes exhibit perfect shrub form with the much coveted button eye that comes from its OGR heritage. It reminds me a bit of the recently discontinued Austin Rose Mary Magdalene, one of my favorites. I think we'll have a lot more comments on this rose next year because it's now available for advanced purchase from David Austin Roses. Emily Bronte, also from David Austin. This one grows tall. And that was from my garden. A couple of comments on, go back a minute. A couple of comments on Emily Bronte. This rose grows tall. I had 3 plants in 25-gallon pots. They grew to like 8 to 10 feet tall, and they almost never bloomed. When they did bloom, lovely, but sparse bloomer. Eustacia Vi, relatively new from David Austin. Very pretty blooms. First year, it wasn't very vigorous. Second year, extremely vigorous. Not great repeat. Gabriel Oak, another David Austin rose. Very, very pretty, deep pink, fading to a lighter pink on the outer petals. Blooms are about medium size. In Your Eyes from Tom Caruth. And we do have a few comments on that one from Pennsylvania. Gorgeous color as the yellow bloom with fuchsia eye turns lavender with age, making a beautiful display in the garden. Fresh sprays should really grab the judge's attention. And from Kentucky has 5 petals, pink with dark eye in center. Bush needs lots of room. Real good rose with disease resistance and good fragrance will show. Nye Bevan is very, very new. It is available for purchase now from David Austin Roses. There were only a few plants that were distributed around the country this year. I did not have one. Ouida from Jim Sproul Hybridizer from Southern California. Jim Sproul has been now experimenting with shrub form roses, and this was his first release. It is absolutely gorgeous, has a slightly sprawling form, but it is absolutely gorgeous. It is not available for purchase around the country yet. Occasionally you can get it from Jim. Occasionally I drive to Bakersfield, California and pick up a few plants and give them to friends. From California, it's a lovely light pink with beautiful form on good stems with clusters of about 5 blooms. The fragrance is a light citrus. I have not seen any disease on it, even though it has not been sprayed in nearly 4 years. Equan in California said, fragrant blooms with nice old rose form. Negatives include a sprawly plant and weak necks, mildew resistant. And Florida, light pink with fabulous form. One of my favorite new roses. Jim Sproul did a great job. Not available as of yet, but shrub fans will go crazy over this one. Princess Elise from Heirloom Roses, one of the last creations of the late John Clements. Roald Dahl from David Austin, medium-sized blooms, very pretty though. Silas Marner, a recent release from David Austin Roses. That picture was from my garden. The blooms are medium-sized. I don't know if it's going to have size, but it does make sprays, so it should be exhibition worthy. Oh, we do have some comments and one from me. This new release from David Austin Roses is a lovely soft pink English style rose. Blooms are only about 2 inches in diameter and come in small sprays. The plant is completely disease resistant, which is a plus. Rebloom is very slow, however. I am concerned the blooms will be too small for exhibition. And from Beth Van Boxdale in California, also growing it, the rose is putting out strong stems of new growth, and I expect this rose to do well in shows next year. I love the fragrance of this rose. Sultry Night from Christian Bedard. Love the look of this new rose. And Wicked Sister is new from Mike Shoup at the Antique Rose Emporium. Moving on to climbers. For the first time, we have included climbers in Horizon Roses. And there aren't that many that were introduced in the past 5 years. I started with Bathsheba from David Austin Roses, grows tall, beautiful English style roses. Beautiful English style blooms on a very vigorous climber. It will definitely exhibit. And another California comment, vigorous, has already won a blue ribbon. Golden Opportunity, new from Tom Caruth. We don't have any comments on this one yet, except some comments from the hybridizer. Peppermint Party from Christian Bedard. Don't have a bunch of comments on this one yet. Great color. And True Gratitude from Ping Lim. This was formerly named Flying Kiss, and he has reintroduced it as True Gratitude. And it did win Best Climber at the Biltmore Trials. Be interesting to see what our reporters think of it next year. In conclusion, we're going to look at some sneak peeks. These are roses that have just been developed and should be available soon. The first one is Angel's Breath. It is a miniature single from Ray Gullibo in Florida, and hopefully he will send it to K&M Roses. It did win Best Miniature Single at the National this year. Here's a brand new single from David Clemens, Merlot by Seedling, a new miniflora. And good to see David Clemens is putting out at least one new rose this year. This is an early release. Edmunds got it as an early release, and it will be available everywhere this year. Ball Gown, it's also called Romantica Ball Gown. This is Danahue. This is a rose from David Austin. It's already released and doing well in England, should be coming to the United States soon. Princess Power from Christian Bedard. It was the 2020 Portland Rose Festival's Collector's Edition rose, and it should be available soon. Ray the Rose. This rose was hybridized by Christopher Warner, and it was named after one of the great exhibitors in England, Ray Martin. We should be seeing it in the United States soon. As a matter of fact, a number of exhibitors here in the US already have it. So I'm not one of them, but this is beautiful. Smiles for Miles comes from Tom Caruth. 2023 Portland Rose Festival Collection Edition Rose. It should be available soon. Steve Singer has a new mini for 2024. Olivia Rose by Swingtime. Great breeding. This should be wonderful. And lastly, Steve Singer's new hybrid tea for 2024. Elizabeth Taylor by Buttercream. It looks gorgeous. In conclusion, I'd like to thank all of the photographers who were included in this program. And I'd like to encourage all the exhibitors out there to become a reporter for New Horizon Roses in 2024. I've already started working on the 2024 edition. And remember, in speaking of roses, we are in this for the fun of it. And thank you for joining us.